There once was a man, oh so old, who lived in a tower, all alone. He practiced healing and magic power all day, every hour. He woke up one morning there to find that there was a person shouting outside. He climbed out of bed and to the window he went. He opened the door and shouted no more. I hate your kind, do not be blind, or I could take your life. It stood to reason that the man was strong, so wise yet angry he had become. The shouting man, he smiled and said, no one would care if I was dead. The old man, so bold and wise, he sighed and said, well, that's nice. You see, I feel the same. No one to love, to hold, or to raise. I live alone in this tower, you see. Within this forest I feel so free, ha ha ha. The man who shouted did understand, but felt that he should leave this land. I know you hate me, the young man said. I leave today on a quest. Is there a potion, a book, a spell I can borrow? I need to leave with one before tomorrow. Thinking for a moment, the old man was sad. He didn't want to give up anything he had. He hates mankind for all they are worth, but he found something of himself within this young lad. He thought for another moment, and came to a conclusion. He would give this man a potion he had. The old man dropped down a vial. It was purple, dusty, and smelled like bile. Rub that on an open wound, and your skin will heal, I would assume. The shouting man was about to leave, but before he did, he gave a shout. Listen, my name is Jeff. I will return someday, I bet. When I do, I'll come to you and reward you with something from my quest. He left. The old man was once again alone, for Jeff had gone on his quest. He coughed and coughed, then realized by the time Jeff returned, he would have died. The old man was ill, you see. It was a rare disease, I fear. This is the life he led, learning how to heal the dead. He thought of the woman he loved, who had died by drowning in mud. A sea of swampy goop, muddy and smelly like... you get the idea. The woman he loved had saved him from the swamp, and in his place she died. The man, remembering this, sighed. He cried and cried and cried. A noise he heard from behind. A slug, not one, not two, but 5. They were large and quite alive. The salt, they can't be left alive. Then he sighed once more. He was so alone he opened a door. Not any old door, but the door to his mind, and said, I'm sick of death, I'm about to die. But why not do it alone? You're slugs, of course, but that doesn't mean that you can't be friends of mine. The slugs, they smiled. How do slugs smile? With their eyes. The man's eyes lit up. He smiled. My name is Blue. How are you? Please tell me your names. The slugs, of course, did not talk. They stared at him, eyes agaze. They understood his name. But why? What for? His name, oh wow, it couldn't be. Yes, that's his name. The slugs, they knew of this man. He was a grumpy but smart old man, with a master plan. He wanted nothing more than to heal wounds, but the wounds were deep, more than a bruise. He was cursed for trying to raise the dead. He had learned his lesson, and he was nearing his end. The slugs, they fought and fought. They could help this man for naught. The man had accepted a dose of humanity today with that man. Jeff was his name. He also accepted the slugs, befriended them, but what for? The slugs then wiggled close to Blue. They had accepted him too. To understand each other closely, the slugs stayed and played with Blue and his games. Months and months went by, 3, 4, maybe 5. The slugs had understood. The man was alone, no one to love. They learned of a woman who had saved Blue from doom and figured out what to do. In these months that passed, they had learned human language at last. They had developed extraordinary powers, able to communicate without mouths. The man, Old Blue, however, was on his deathbed, his final hour. The curse had rotted his insides. He was no longer fit, no longer fine. With one final moment, he asked his friends, "Will I ever see my love again?" The Slugs then finally decided. They spoke and said, "You will be reunited, but not yet, our friend. Your time isn't up. We won't let your story end. You can't give up. What about Jeff? You have to await his prize. We know what to do. We'll heal you. We know what we must do." The Slugs, they glowed. A bright light flowed, and the curse went out of control. Old Blue, in pain, misery, and hate, was being driven completely insane. The pain, what wonderful pain! It had taken control. You may think this pain is killing him, but this is the pain of healing. A lesson to those who do not know, a wound becomes harder to handle when it's nearing its healing factor. After several minutes of agony, the light fades away. The curse has been lifted, but was it all in vain? The Slugs were nowhere to be seen. Blue, awoken and sad, he looked around, and what has he found? 5 slugs, shriveled and dead. His best friends, his 5 slug companions, lay on his table, no longer awake. These slugs gave up their life, their souls, their minds. Blue was alone again, but this time the curse was gone. Would he stay strong? Upon learning of all that had happened, he had to make a choice. Would he continue his work on his love? Would he find a way to bring back his slugs? He had talked to them, studied them, and played with them daily. His daily slugs were his best friends. There was one more option on his path, one he did not see before the slugs came into his life. He could learn to accept all that had happened. He could let go and continue his life. He wiped away his tears and smiled, then said, "I know what to do now. Thank you, my dear slugs. A daily dose of friendship is all I needed. Our friendship will not be deleted. I shall cherish you for all eternity. Now it is my turn to open my eyes and see." A loud shout came from outside. "Excuse me, are you inside?" Blue opened his window. A man was there, he remembered. "Jeff, my boy, it's you, ahoy! Welcome back from your quest. I will be down in a short moment. Please do not leave, not even for a moment." Blue, old and wise, ran down his tower stairs as if he was a child. Excited, he opened the door. At last, outside, out of the door. He walked over to Jeff, who said, "I'm alive thanks to you. Your potion, smelly and old, closed my wounds, healed me like gold. You saved my life, and I am in your debt. Please take this, it was hard to get." Jeff handed Blue a sack. 300 gold coins? Are you mad? This is too much. I could buy so much. I could finally have my own lab. A home to stay in, with a bath and a bed. You know what? Why don't we be friends? Just like that, Jeff accepted. He was happy to see someone so excited. From here on out, they became friends, visited frequently, telling stories to no end. They worked together, creating potions and starting a guild. No ordinary guild, but the best in the country. A guild of healing and weaponry. This guild was for selling equipment, helping others just like Blue did. What did they name it, you ask? Daily Slugs Adventuring Guild, owned by Jeff and Blue.